am Diana of Themyscira, daughter of Hippolyta. In the name of all that is good, your wrath upon this world is over.
Wonder Woman! But I'm Batman. Wonder Woman is a movie that is 75 years in the making. Serving as the fourth film in the DC Extended Universe, Wonder Woman is not only one of DC's flagship characters, but she's one of the most recognizable fictional characters in American history. She is a feminist icon, the connective tissue of the DC Trinity, and probably the last superhero you would expect to wait 75 years to get a movie. I mean, Doctor Strange got a fucking movie before Wonder Woman. Doctor Strange. I'm Batman. I was unsure of how they were going to treat Diana's origin in the film because it's been changed so many times in the comics, but it's very similar to her original origin in 1941. She was crafted out of clay by her mother Hippolyta. She was brought to life by her father Zeus. Her mother is the Queen of the Amazons, a legendary race of female warriors that are sworn to protect the world. They reside on Themyscira, a secluded island that is hidden from the outside world. When Allied fighter pilot Steve Trevor crash lands off the coast of Themyscira, Diana saves his life and then agrees to join and fight alongside him in the war to end all wars. The best part about Wonder Woman is the film's sense of identity. It's not spoiled by corporate subplots or unnecessary cameos. It knows what it wants to be. Fair or not, there was a lot riding on this film's success. Warner Brothers is a major studio. They're going to make money on their films whether they're good or bad, but this was about setting the tone for the future of the DCEU. In comparison to its predecessors, Wonder Woman feels like it takes place in an entirely different universe. It's similar to Iron Man in that way, where it's not just the next installment in an overarching story. And honestly, it feels like the first film that DC has ever released for this universe. By setting the film 100 years before the events of Man of Steel, Patty Jenkins was given the opportunity to make the movie her way. The story is confined to its setting, and the plot and the subplots never feel unnecessary to the story. It's very rare these days to watch a superhero movie where there's only one superhero. In Wonder Woman, Gal Gadot is playing the one superhero. She shares the screen with everyday men and women who are caught in the middle of the world's deadliest war: soldiers, secretaries, families. The only other superpowered beings are the Amazons on Themyscira, but they don't accompany Wonder Woman when she leaves to man's world. People forget that Patty Jenkins is the same director who directed Charlize Theron to her first Academy Award in the film Monster. Patty Jenkins ain't no slouch, but I think most people don't realize that she hasn't directed a movie for 13 years. So even Gal Gadot's biggest detractors knew that she was in good hands. I never understood the skepticism of her acting abilities. Listen, she's not the second coming of Meryl Streep. She's not going to win any Oscars playing Wonder Woman, but she was by far the best part of Batman v Superman. In contrast to the confident, ass-kicking Wonder Woman we met in Batman v Superman, this Wonder Woman is innocent, naive, and full of optimism and potential. This is a role that also requires convincing physicality, and even if you're not a fan of her acting ability, you cannot deny her ability to kick some ass. Even in the smaller moments, Gal Gadot is charming, she's funny and confident. You could tell that she's not a fully developed actor, that there's a lot of room for improvement. But she's already pretty good at playing the character. I always thought that this was a good casting, and I think this is the character that you transition as the face of your universe moving forward. Initially, I hated that they didn't use World War II, but I'm such a hypocrite because I'm always criticizing World War II movies. We get it, okay? We won. But World War I was actually a better choice because it's kind of a war that nobody really knows why it was fought. By the end of the 19th century, all of these European countries had formed these intricate alliances, and then in the early 20th century, global war. And this really sets up the villain perfectly. Now, for Wonder Woman's character, you see the contrast of Themyscira. It's this beautiful, secluded island, and then you look at the reality of World War I London. It's dealing with the harsh reality of war, and this is kind of the transition that Wonder Woman goes through in this film. In the beginning of the movie, we have this character who is a warrior that has never bled. She's never experienced the complexities and horrors of war. As Catelyn Stark would say, she's a knight of summer and winter is coming. She wants to fight for the good guys. She wants to do good. She wants to save the world, but she soon discovers that war isn't black and white. It's not just good versus bad. Steve Trevor attempts to guide her in a world filled with good, bad, altruism, and destruction, and he's also trying to integrate her into man's world. All of this is foreign to Diana, and a lot of the comedic moments in the film are between Gadot and Chris Pine, and they both have great chemistry. Chris Pine makes a great leading man. Superman, he's awesome as Captain Kirk, but in Wonder Woman, he's a great wingman. He fully understands the role of his character in this film, and he's taking the back seat by playing a character that will probably never appear on screen again. I mean, come on, people, it's set 100 years in the past, it's not a spoiler. Halfway through the movie, Steve Trevor is without a doubt following Wonder Woman's lead, both on and off the battlefield. And that first scene when Wonder Woman goes into action, people were literally cheering in my theater. It was awesome. She's using all the weapons at her disposal. She's got the indestructible bracelets, the lasso of truth. She's wielding the sword that has been deemed God killer by the Amazons. It's incredible. And that's the one thing with the DC movies. They've always been consistent with their action and their visuals. And this movie is on par with the action scenes in Batman v Superman. I think where Zack Snyder doesn't get enough credit, he doesn't take comic book characters and ground them in reality. He grounds them in the universe where they were created. You look at the way that Superman fought in Man of Steel, Batman in Batman v Superman, and now Wonder Woman in Wonder Woman. This is how we always wanted to see these characters fight. They're gods. They're superheroes. They're superhuman. Now, I do have some problems with the movie. The runtime. The longer your movie runs, the harder it is to pace, and there's some awkward pacing in this movie. The scenes on Themyscira are a bit slow, but the movie really gets going when they start focusing on the war. And as for Ares, the villain of the movie, well, I kind of wish they didn't tell me that David Thewlis was playing Ares, because when it's revealed, it's like, oh yeah, that's David Thewlis, he's playing Ares. Now, Ares really doesn't do anything in the movie. It's more of a commentary on man's relationship with war. Once again, World War I was the perfect choice because it really is the most unnecessary war in human history. Ares doesn't necessarily cause the war, but he is instigating it. He wants to see humanity destroy itself from within. Diana thinks that if she can kill Ares, the war will end, and Steve tries to tell her, listen, there's not one single cause of war. If there was, we can end this right now. There's a lot of things that are outside of our control. There's external factors. So Ares is not necessarily a bad villain, but he's not really a good villain either. He's just kind of there for Diana to fight at the end. And Dr. Poison, what the fuck? Why was she even in the movie? But overall, this is the movie that DC needed, man. And I really hope they put Wonder Woman at the forefront of their universe moving forward. So I would give this movie an 8 out of 10. I love the character, I love DC, and it's good to see that they finally have a coherent movie that I can say that I loved. DC is back, baby! Woo! I'm Batman.